Good morning. My name is Dr. Horace Huntley, and I'm here this morning with Reverend Joseph Lewis Rogers, and we're doing this interview for the Civil Rights Institute, and today is March 2nd, 1995, and I'd like to say thank you, Reverend Rogers, for coming out to sit with us today to talk about your life in Birmingham and the Civil Rights Movement. Let me just start by asking you, what part of the state are your parents from?
My parents from Montgomery, Alabama.
Were you born in Montgomery?
Montgomery.
And how long did you live in Montgomery before you moved to Birmingham?
I lived about 15 years.
Did you ever visit Birmingham before you moved to Birmingham?
When I was a kid.
And who did you visit in Birmingham?
My aunt.
Okay. Did you? How old were you? Did you remember coming up to visit Birmingham several times?
I was 4 years old.
4 years old. And you stayed with her maybe during the summer?
About 6 weeks.
And then you went back to Montgomery? And then how old were you when you came to Birmingham to live?
When I came to Birmingham to live, I was 16 years old.
And how long did you stay when you came the first time?
The first time I stayed about 3 months. Went back to Montgomery.
And you went back to Montgomery, and what did you do in Montgomery when you went back?
Went back to Montgomery and finished elementary school.
I see. Well, what did you work when you came to Birmingham?
Yes.
What was your job?
My job was keeping furnace heated up.
And for what company did you work for?
Demick's Pipe Shop.
Demick's Pipe Shop. Where was that located?
North Birmingham.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
No brothers, no sisters.
You're the only child?
Only child.
Were you spoiled?
Yes, with treetop teeth.
That's all right. How much education did you have?
When I came to Birmingham,
yes, sir.
I had finished elementary school.
Okay, and when you came back to Birmingham, did you then go back and work for Pipe Shop the second time when you came to live in Birmingham permanently?
When I came back, I didn't go to the pipe shop. I went to the ice house.
Tell me about the ice house.
Ice house, well, roll coal there keep the furnace rolling.
Okay. How did that job, can you kind of describe that job?
Well, it was a big furnace there, and I had to roll enough coal in the day for the night fireman to fire with during that night.
So you fired during the day?
No, I just put the coal there.
Oh, you just made sure the coal was there. And how long did you do that? How long did you work there?
I stayed there about 4 months.
And then what did you do after?
After that, I went to the American Radiator.
Okay. And what did you do out there?
Out there, at the American Radiator, I was assistant to the foreman.
And did you make radiators?
The company made the radiator heaters. I was assistant to the foreman, and I'd take in new flashes and take out old ones.
I see.
Keep the sand clean for them to mold with.
Okay. And then after that, you then went to the coal mines, is that right?
Yeah, I went to the coal mine.
Okay, what was your job in the coal mine?
In the coal mine, I was loading coal.
Loading coal? And for how long? How long did you work there?
Oh, I worked in the coal mine 20 years.
Were you a member of the union?
I was a member of the union when they got organized.
Okay.
They organized in 33.
33. The NIRA, National Industrial Recovery Act. Well, how active were you with the union? Were you ever an official in the union itself? You work on any committees?
I was on the committee, and I was vice president of the local.
Vice president of local. So you were very active. You mean there were black vice presidents at that time of the local unions?
Beg pardon?
There were black vice presidents
Yeah,
at that time?
white president and a black vice.
Oh, it was always a white president and a black vice president. Oh, why was that?
Well, they was trying to, whatsoever a man was qualified to do, they was trying to give him do that job.
I see. I noticed also you were elected to be check weighman,
Yeah,
the first in the state of Alabama
first black,
in 1937.
1937.
What is the job of a check weighman?
Sit up on the top house where the coal come out and weigh it when they go across the scale.
How was that job? Did you enjoy that job?
Well, I enjoyed it partly, and partly I didn't.
What did you enjoy about it?
I enjoyed seeing the cars roll across the scales and giving them just weight, but I didn't like so well that strife when I come down off the top house.
What kind of strife did you get when
Well,
you came down?
and the hatred, threatening, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, why did they threaten you?
They didn't want a black man to have that job because no one had never had one in the state of Alabama.
Oh, this is a white man's job. And so therefore you were threatened by other whites. Well, what did black workers say about your being check weighman?
Beg pardon?
What did the black workers say about your being
Well, the black, we had few of them. They didn't like it. They were with the other fellow. But it's just a few of them.
Well, were you supported by the union?
Supported by the union.
And how long did you remain as check weighman?
Well, one year.
1 year. And then what did you do after that?
After that, well, I left Lewisburg and went to Republic Steel.
And how long were you at Republic Steel?
I was at Republic Steel from the latter part of 37 to 43.
And what was your job at Republic Steel?
And my job at Republic Steel was loading coal.
Okay, so you,
Loading coal and committeeman.
what was your pay like?
My pay was working about a ton, making around about $200 a month.
Was that pretty good money for that
Yeah, that
time?
was pretty good.
Is that why the white workers didn't want a black worker on that job? Because it made more money?
Well, the Constitution gave a person a right to a job regardless to what it was if he were qualified for it.
I see. Tell me a little about your community. What was your community like?
I had a very nice community.
And what community did you live in?
North Birmingham.
North Birmingham. Tell me about the makeup. Were there different kinds of occupations, people with different kinds of occupations? What kind of work did the people do that
Well,
lived around?
there were several plants, there were several stove foundries, and there was the U.S. Pipe, what is Jim Walter now. It was Demick's then, and it left Demick's and went to U.S. Pipe. Left U.S. Pipe and Jim Walter now. Now that was a great place to work, and they had several foundries there where they make stoves.
Who were your neighbors?
Well, I had so many neighbors.
And what kind of work did they do?
Well, some mined, some worked in the foundries, and others in factories, things like that.
I see. You were married?
Yeah,
You have children?
2.
2 children. How old were your children when were your children real young when you were working in the mines?
No, they weren't with me.
I see. Okay.
They were in school.
I see. Oh, they were in school at the time. Were you a member of any community organizations?
None but the United Mine Workers
Okay, so that kept you pretty busy.
until the organization came in.
The Alabama Christian Movement.
Uh-huh.
Okay. How did you get involved with the civil rights movement?
Well, Shuttlesworth was my friend, and through him we worked together. We worked together in churches, and then we worked together in the movement.
How did you get to know Shuttlesworth?
Well, he pastored, when he came to Birmingham, I was already there, pastor, and he pastored one of the neighborhood churches.
Okay, in North Birmingham.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When did you are a pastor as well? When did you become a pastor?
I became pastor in 43.
In 1943.
Mm-hmm.
And what church were you a member of at the time?
Shady Grove Baptist Church, the same church I'm pastor.
So when did you become pastor of the church in
Yeah.
1943?
Mm-hmm. That was my membership church, and the pastor died. And I had been preaching about 2 years, and they made choice of me, and I've been there ever since.
Okay, so from 1943, you've been at Shady Grove.
Yeah.
And the movement now, the Alabama Christian Movement Human Rights will be organized in 1956.
Mm-hmm.
Were you one of those initial people that helped to organize the movement?
Yeah.
Were you there at the first meetings?
No, I wasn't at the first one.
Mm-hmm. But you were there sometime
Yeah.
at, one
During
of
the-
those that came
In the early
right
part
after
of it.
that. Yes, sir. What role did you play in the movement?
I was vice president, not vice president, but president of the finance committee.
Okay, what did that entail? What did you do?
Take the money to the bank.
All right, so you handle the money. So
Yeah.
you must have been one of those that were very well trusted then.
Yeah,
So did you attend all of the mass meetings?
just about all of them. The only reason I didn't attend them is I had to be out of town.
Well, tell me, what was a mass meeting like?
Well, it seemed like a church mostly, because all of them looked like religious people. We operate pretty just like a church. We'd have meetings, singing, praying, and lifting an offering and speakers.
Why were the meetings so popular?
To me, the reason it was so popular, it was set up on a Christian base. And most of the people were Christian people.
So did most people feel that there was a need for some kind of change?
Oh, yes.
What kind of changes were necessary?
Well, they wanted to change in many things, where the people could get jobs and where they should have them. Such as change in at depot, change from a white bathroom, from a white bathroom to a black one.
Okay. If you were, during the time of the movement, you were very active, and in attending those meetings, on those mass meetings, were police there?
Yes.
Why were they there?
They were there to take notes of what we were doing.
Mm. So in other words, they were there to spy on you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to jail?
Not fortunate, didn't go to jail.
Well,
I don't know how come I didn't go to jail. Folks go around me, but I never did go to jail.
Well, you had to take care of the money if you had gone
Well,
to jail.
see, I got them out of jail when they got in jail.
That's right. So if the man with the money is in jail, the movement would have been in trouble. Did others in your family participate?
Yes.
Who participated?
My wife.
Was she ever arrested?
Hmm.
Was your wife ever arrested?
No, she wasn't ever arrested.
Okay. No, touch your. they're hearing you on the other mic. Okay. How did your wife react? Did she go to the meetings with you?
Well, sometimes she didn't go real regular.
Well, what was her reaction to your being involved in the movement?
Beg pardon?
What was her reaction to your being involved in the movement?
Well, my activity in the movement was to help straighten it out, help righting the wrongs.
Well, did your wife go along with you?
Oh, yes.
She was supportive of you, huh? Well, did she ever say, don't go tonight?
No, never did.
Never did? Well, that's quite an accomplishment there then, if your wife never discouraged you. What benefits do you think your family, the community realize as a result of the movement?
Well, we have a lot of benefits. We had changes in lots of things. Places you couldn't go, well, we got to a place we could go there. A lot of things that we thought was wrong was right, or wrong that were right.
That's right. Well, what are there any incidences that you may have been involved with during the struggle that you'd like to share with us? Were you ever stopped by the police?
Oh, yes, I was stopped by the police.
Tell me about that.
Well, he didn't do anything but stop me and ask me where was I going. And I told him, he told me, well, you can't go there, you have to go this way.
So did that upset you?
Never did.
Is that the only time that you were stopped by
Oh, I
police?
stopped several times. They just stop you and question you.
You were never roughed up or anything by the police? The police never beat you?
Never was arrested.
Never was arrested? Well, did they ever harass you? Did you ever get telephone calls at your house? People harassing you about being involved in the movement?
Well, several times they would call, but they wouldn't give no names. But there was people against the movement.
What would they say when they call you?
Well, you all think you're going to win, but you ain't going to win.
So the movement then, in your opinion, the movement was very necessary.
It was necessary.
Why do you think it started when it did? Why do you think that in 1956, the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights organized?
Well, they got interested in it after Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat. Then Martin Luther King and Shuttlesworth got together, and it was necessary.
It was very necessary. Well, we do know that the movement was very, very necessary. What do you think, if there were there any failures within the movement?
Any what?
Failures. Did it fail in any way?
Failed?
Yes, sir.
Well, lots of things failed, but it wasn't too much to do any harm.
So you think that it was basically successful then?
Yeah.
Can you just briefly talk about some of the changes that you've seen over the time when you first came to Birmingham and today? How has Birmingham changed over time? It
has changed considerably. When I first came to Birmingham, you could find a dead man on the street or on the railroad most any day. But it don't happen like that now.
So, and did you ever determine who those people were and why they were dead?
Well, some was chopped up like the train rolled over them, and some was threw in water, and some in bushes, and that deteriorated when they found them like that. But mostly somebody would get killed every night.
Every night. And You said this is part of the harassment, intimidation of black people?
Well, that was before this organization was.
Yeah.
And I think this organization helped to curb a lot of that.
Were members of your church active in the movement?
Yes, they were very active.
What did they say when you got involved as a minister? Did you get involved first, or did your church get
Me.
involved? And what did your members say when you first got involved?
They lined up and took part and went to jail just like the other people did.
Did you ever have meetings at your church?
That's right.
And many of those meetings were led by members of your church.
Members of different churches.
And because you would go from different churches all over the city.
Uh-huh.
But yours was on the regular circuit.
Yes.
How many churches in North Birmingham were involved?
Oh, just about every one, just about.
And all of the ministers supported what was happening with the movement in North Birmingham.
They were supported it real nicely.
Were there any churches in Birmingham that didn't support the movement?
Oh, yes.
There were.
Yeah.
But in North Birmingham, you basically had most of the churches were in support.
Mm-hmm.
And you could use all of those churches for meetings.
Well, a lot of them you couldn't use because it couldn't hold the people. The crowd was, now they didn't come to our church regular because our church wouldn't hold over about 500 or 600 members.
You are a carpenter also, right? When you're a carpenter,
That's right.
didn't you build your church?
I built 4 churches. I built one of them pastoring and 3 others.
What are the others that you built?
Huh?
What other churches did you build?
I built one Primitive Baptist and 3 Baptist churches.
All in Birmingham?
Mm-hmm.
And did have you built homes as well?
Yeah, I built a home. I got burned out in 46. Now I had never built. That's when I started building. I built my own house.
Built your own house, built your own church.
Built my own church. Church in the house for the same time.
You're not building any now, are you?
No, I couldn't build it.
Well, I was going to get you to build me one if you were still building.
No.
Yeah. Are there any other, you remember any other occurrences, any other things that happened during the movement that were of interest that people would like to know about?
Well, a lot of things they would like to know about. Some would like to know that places they couldn't go, they could go in, places they couldn't, restrooms they couldn't use, they can use them. And a lot of movement opened a lot of doors that was closed.
Mm-hmm. What about the internal workings of the movement? You know, we see all of the films, people marching, we see people on the church steps, but what about like the business meetings within the movement? How did those meetings usually go?
Well, when it had a real business meeting that we didn't want anybody else in on it, well, it's just the officers.
Did you do any fundraising? You raise any money for the movement?
Oh, yes. Yes. I was chairman of the finance committee. I had to raise it.
How did you raise money?
Well, I'd go from church to church and people would, give me donations, things like that.
Did you ever do any speaking?
Yes.
Around Birmingham?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go outside of Birmingham?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
I was outside of Birmingham. I went to Montgomery and I went down at Jasper,
Mm-hmm.
Carbon Hill.
So you were pretty well known then.
Yes, pretty well known.
So when you went in, did you normally come out with money?
Oh yes, they'd give a donation.
Mm. So, but when the demonstrations were going on and people were being arrested, then you were not arrested, Because you had to sign the checks, right?
Well, I don't know why they didn't arrest me. They'd arrest them all around me, but they never did arrest me.
That's interesting. So you could have been arrested.
Yeah.
But they would never arrest you.
Never
you
made
were, You were a pretty big man, though, right?
it. I was a little larger than I am now.
Okay. Yes. Is there anything else that you would like to just sort of share with people? Because I know that you have a lot of information about the movement. What was your relationship, for instance, with Shuttlesworth?
Oh, Shuttlesworth, we worked together in our churches, and anytime, well, he just as a brother. Anytime I need him, he'd come. Anytime he needed me, I would come to the rescue. If he had to go somewhere, needed somebody, and didn't have enough, he'd call me and we'd go.
So how far was your church from his church?
Oh, right around about 3 blocks, 3 or 4 blocks.
So the two of you then worked very closely together.
Yeah.
And when he first started to develop the movement, you were one of the first that he called?
Well, I wasn't first, but I was in the first crowd. Wasn't one of the first ones.
I see. So then the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights then would probably have your stamp on it.
Yes, I have a plaque from the United Alabama Christian Movement.
You have a plaque for the service that you rendered to them. Okay. If you were to have the ability to change anything in the movement, what would you change?
Have any ability to change anything?
Anything that went on in the movement, what would you change?
Well, I did have the ability to change one thing. That's on the annual days such as Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and change it. Had the people to know that wasn't no such thing as black money and white money. Had them to quit going to the stores. Now that selective bargain come through, that was one of my ideas. Don't buy.
Oh.
Teach your dollar some sense.
Teach your dollar some sense. Well, why did you do that?
Well, because the people was segregated. If segregated, they was against us.
So you were trying to put pressure on those.
On their livelihood.
Did that work?
Yeah, it worked.
How did you do that?
Well, we just made the announcement in Myers College. The people in other churches and mostly schools couldn't participate like Myers College. Dr. Pitt was him, and Dr. Pitt would turn them loose and let them march.
So Miles was very active.
Oh, Myers played a great part.
Okay, so you then were one of those that sort of enticed Miles to get involved in the selective buy-in?
Yeah.
Okay, was that your strategy?
Shuttlesworth.
Shuttlesworth, but you would carry it out.
We would carry it out together. We worked together. On committee work, we'd work together.
How active were the students from Miles College?
Oh, they was active. They were ready to go anytime you say go.
Is that right? Well, how did they keep people from going into the stores? How did they keep people from going into the stores?
Marching. We had some regular people, marching on the street. But when you got ready for that march, well, they were there.
Well, what about selective buying? Did everybody just agree not to go into the stores, or were there ever
well,
anybody
not
that
everybody,
to go
but now that was my idea on that. That was one thing that I shared with them, told them that would kind of slow them down. Because no money, nothing easy.
That's That's right. The money speaks, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. So then, when you how did you select a store to boycott, or did you just boycott all the stores?
Get that again.
How did you select the stores to boycott?
Didn't select them, just any of them.
So anybody in the stores downtown?
Yes, right.
Was there ever any black people that went on in and bought anyway?
Well, some slipped in and they quit slipping in and went ordering it, ordering it by mail.
What would happen if students were standing there boycotting the store, picketing the store, and someone would try to go in?
Well, we'd ask him not to go in, but if he went on in, we wouldn't bother him.
Okay. So no one ever was bothered because they went in?
Oh, we was peaceful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so that strategy then was used here in Birmingham, and it was used in other places as well. Had you seen it used before? Was that your idea?
My idea, I started it on our church. The members were spending a lot of money, unnecessary money. And I told them I don't want nobody on Easter. I don't want nobody with a new outfit. Mm. And the people saw how much money they were saving on Easter, and they said they were glad that I introduced them. Because one man told me, I saved him about $300.
Is that right? So you have then been with your church since 1943. Mm-hmm. Is that right? I've been
there 57 years.
50?
But that's my membership church.
But you have been the leader of the church?
Yeah.
Since 1943?
Yeah. And the pastor since 43. I served all the way through every auxiliary in the church.
So people must have a lot of confidence in you.
Oh, yes.
As a result of that, I see that you celebrated your 50th anniversary in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
This year will be what? 50?
52.
Mm-hmm.
So you that's okay. You've done your time. Well, I want to thank you for coming and spending the time with me today. And I'm going to take these materials here that you've given me and go through them and write some things out as well. But it's very obvious that we are glad that we had the opportunity to sit down with you and talk with you about your life and times in Birmingham. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sweet